Hi everyone. I recently came across a Reddit post that I want to share. So here it is. It's from Petty Revenge and is submitted by Jack Magic Man. Revenge at the Playground. I was just a spectator for this, but it gives me such a revenge high that I want to share it. We are sitting at the ball field watching our kids play softball. And as what happens at every field complex in America, the younger kids are playing on the playground. The 6 and 7-year-olds are playing some form of dodgeball, but I can't understand the rules. All I know is they are having a blast. They aren't hurting each other, and all the parents can just watch the game in peace while everyone is having a good time. About halfway through the game, a kid around 10 shows up and wants to play too. They let him because they are having fun, and the little turd starts hitting the kids way too hard for their age. He was just beating them. After the third kid is knocked over by this brat, a parent gets up, comes over to the playground, and asks the kid if he can chill a little. The kids are much younger than him, and he's hurting them. The little brat says, "It's just the rule of the game. If your kid doesn't want to get hurt, he shouldn't play." I was half thinking this kid was about to get an earful from his mother, or she would stop her kid from playing. And instead, she just said, "Okay," turns, walks back to her seats, and whispers something in the kid ear that is sitting next to her playing on his tablet. The kid, without hesitating, stands up and says, "Hey, can I play?" The little kids are a little worried because the last kid they invited to play started hurting them. But the kid's little brother said, "Yes!" The kid came over. He couldn't have been much older than the brat who had come over earlier. Maybe a year older or so. Like one might have been 10, the other 11 or 12. They started playing, and the minute the brat had beaten another kid really hard, the other boy says, "Hey, can you cool it a little? We don't want to hurt the little kids." The brat answers, "Shut up and play. It's just part of the game." The 12-year-old just said, "Okay." A second later, you hear the loudest smash of the ball. Every parent turned around, and the brat is prone on the ground with his face in the dirt. The other kid is just standing up from his throwing position. The prone kid stands up and has dirt down his face where he got knocked over, and he is starting to cry. He takes off running. About 3 minutes later, the kid's mother comes back with the brat and starts asking for the 12-year-old's parents. The mother says, "That would be me. Your kid hit my kid so hard he left a mark. Look," she said as he pulled up his shirt to show her. The mother just said, "Those are the rules of the games. If he doesn't want to get hit, he shouldn't play." The mother of the brat is furious. "Your son is an all-star pitcher. He could have killed my son." The mother of the pitcher said, "My son is an all-star pitcher with outstanding control. He hit your son exactly where he wanted to." The other mother tried to come back, but the other parents and the kids started telling her how her son was starting it by hitting the little kids. After that, it got into a shouting match, and the league commissioner had to come break it up. The brat and the mother eventually left, and about 5 minutes later, the mother brought an ice cream for her all-star pitcher. Now let's hear a comment. One of the commenters says, "I hope all the parents bought him and his mother ice cream." The OP replied, "I thought the other parents should have gotten involved sooner, but they probably knew what was about to happen, and the mother who originally said something kind of gave off the team mother vibe. The other parents probably did chip in for ice cream because they didn't have to be the bad guy." Now, that is sweet revenge to me. Hey, you get what you get. If you be mean, you're gonna get hurt. And being on the playground or going to a lot of parks, I have experienced this kind of, well, I haven't experienced it personally. I take that back. I have seen this happen before where older kids play super rough with the younger kids and not realizing it sometimes. Sometimes it's purely innocence. That's cool, you know? As long as if an adult or someone says, hey, don't play so rough, be nice, be gentle, and you listen, no harm, no foul, it's all good. But if you're going to continue your harmful behavior, you best believe that something is going to happen. If you continue to be mean to little kids in this case, then someone who's going to be bigger and older is going to do the same to you eventually. I see it as instant karma. So, although this the bully's mother was definitely in the wrong, because honestly she should have been watching her kid. And not only that, I feel like it should have been the little bully kid's mom's responsibility to step in and be like, hey, you're playing too rough. You gotta be nicer. Be the parent and not have another parent to come and tell your kid how to actually behave. Because, there are some parents out there who will be like, oh my God, who are you to be parenting my parent? To be parenting my child. Come on. Some people get so defensive about that. Like, well, if your kid is starting to hurt my kid, I obviously have to step in to protect my kid about it. So, come on. And I just feel like, in the back of my mind, if I was in this situation, what would I do is probably something similar to what this mom did. Maybe in my head I would play it out first, and then maybe put it to action if I think it's feasible. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, it's nice to imagine it. Because it's, when you're in the playground and at the park, it gets a little iffy, Like I said earlier, some parents get defensive or offended when you try to say something to their kid when they're clearly doing something wrong or that's harmful. And then there are some that just don't care or are just not watching their kid, and you have to do anything to keep your own child safe. Yes, there are times where I have experience where my kids are playing and then, an older kid or another kid who's being mean or being a little rough. And I do tell my kids sometimes to just walk away, because I just feel like sometimes it's just not worth it. Just get away from the harmful situation or the unsafe situation or environment. Another times I say, what, you can tell. I would tell my kids, say, hey, you can tell that person, hey, you're being mean or you're being rough or you're hurting me, and see what happens. So I also want to teach my kids to do both, to stand up for themselves, but at the same time also learn to just walk away from a harmful situation. Anyways, I would love to hear if you have ever experienced something like this, or if what would you do if you were in that parent's situation? Would you have done the same thing, or would you handle it differently? Let me know in the comment down below, and remember to subscribe and like our channels. See you later.